Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Gooner Gathering. I am Gooner Lee Meadows, and I am privileged to be joined by the poshest man in all of sports entertainment today, Posh Bertie. It's the day after the event. How you doing?
Tired, but
Yeah.
I'm good. I'm good. I've just about recovered, and yeah, it was a very entertaining stream last night. I enjoyed it very much. So probably one of the best
Uh,
watch-alongs we've done.
it was entertaining one way or
Yeah,
another. That's probably fair.
I know.
Some of it
A
might not have
mixture
been
of
PG.
a mixture of jubilation, despair, and
Hmm.
Pringles and alcohol.
and
Yeah,
and and I may not have gone to work tasting not of cornflakes. That might have been that been true, but
no,
it
tasted
doesn't
Pringles
matter.
instead.
Absolutely, that's exactly what it was. Absolutely, and the sweet chili hummus dip. It's very important to
There we
mention
go.
that.
Very important ingredient.
Absolutely. So my plan for this evening, as I'm trying to wait for people to kind of join the stream if they want to, is to kind of go through the England performance last night. We'll kind of give a rating out of 10 out of from the England lads, the starting 11
Mm.
and the substitutes, and then what we will do following that, there is some news coming out of Arsenal, which we will talk about following that as well.
Yeah,
So all of a sudden we have a couple of people here. So I think probably best we get into it then, shall we? So
I think we
what
shall.
what we'll do, we'll go from goalkeeper, defenders, midfielders, and then the alleged striker. Hello, AFC. Always, it's nice to have you here, and thank you very much for your comments before we went live today. So let me just make sure I find the right thing. Yeah, like I said on before we went air, we're on air. We are going to just go through the England lads from yesterday's match, and if we have any further thoughts as we go along. This is very much on the fly. We didn't know we were going to do this until about an hour and a half ago, and you guys know we are unscripted, we are raw, much like WWE back in the old days. So we'll see how this goes. So I think it's probably a good place to start. Is the number one is the goalkeeper Pickford? How did you think he got on
I think
yesterday, mate?
AFC always beat me to it. I'll give Pickford a 7. I think he actually, yeah, he conceded 2 goals. I get that, but the first goal was mainly to do with our defence totally unmarking Nico
Yeah.
Williams. But Pickford, I thought, did a couple of very good saves to deny Yamal twice,
Mm-hmm.
especially in the second half. Spain had a lot of chances, and Pickford managed to save a lot of them. So
Mm.
I actually thought Pickford had a decent game. There are a few players, only a few players in that team that could
Yeah.
leave the final with their heads held high, and we'll get to them in a minute. And I think Pickford's one of them. He gets a 7. He pulled off some good saves.
I thought Pickford was excellent, to be fair. He's had a great tournament all the way through for me. And I've always rated him even early days when I saw him over at Sunderland. I thought
Sunderland, yeah.
he was going to be a fantastic keeper. And I see people comparing Pickford to some of the all time greats in the England goal, and
No. Uh,
let me finish,
okay.
I'll understand why people will say that, because he has pulled off some spectacular saves. He has had his moments in penalty shootouts, and for me, he's quite a character as well, isn't he, Pickford? I think goalkeepers as a whole, are a special breed of player to put yourself out there, being that last line of defence. I think you have to be a bit special. And do you know what? I really like what Pickford's done. Um, Excuse me, I should have muted my phone. That was my BBC News going off. Right. So Yeah, I've got to say, I do rate what Pickford's done during the whole tournament. As from yesterday's game, I think 7 is probably about right.
I know that people are having Pickford in conversations with one of England's all-time great goalkeepers. Personally, I think the greatest England goalkeeper of all time is Gordon Banks, really, because he brought football home with England. He was part of that squad. But I think Pickford will definitely be remembered as a successful goalkeeper for us.
I think we could put him on.
Gordon Banks and Peter Shilton are the two big beasts in the England goal, in my opinion.
Or we could go on a whole conversation here because of my era, and I'm a big Dave Seaman fan. Because
when he's not getting lobbed by Ronaldinho, then he was good for England.
Stop it! Stop reminding me of things like that. Dave Seaman is one of my all-time heroes, and a jolly nice chap as well.
Yeah.
So, and I could tell you that from personal experience as well. So, Dave's my man. I love him. But Pickford, I think it's definitely worth being amongst that conversation. That's for sure. Jordan, well played during the tournament. You did exceptionally well and fully justified your spot as number 1 goalkeeper. Well done. That's genuinely bloody well done from us and on the channel. He did fantastic during the tournament. Now, what I've done here on the banner there, I have sort of edited from putting the whole squad line up. I've kind of, so it's not necessarily where it should be, but just to make things easier and quicker for me to get this done on time. I've lined it up as a back 5. So obviously we have the 3 centre half situation with Mark Gahey, John Stones, and Carl Walker. We had as the wing backs Luke Shaw, Miss Molina. Hello, it's lovely to see you, mate. Luke Shaw and Bukayo Saka. So go from in whatever order you want to. Perhaps. So
I'll go with AFC always has gone with Walker first, so I'll join him and go with Walker first. He's given him a 5. You know what? With Kyle Walker, there were times in this tournament, especially against Slovakia, where he was probably one of the worst players, if not the worst player on the pitch. However, I think against Spain, he didn't do as bad as I thought he would do. I would give him a 6. I'd give him a 6. I actually think, held his own quite well. Didn't do as bad as he did compared to other games. I think just a 6 would do nicely for him.
Yeah. I know through everything that I've experienced on social media and everything today, there has been a lot of criticism go Walker's way because of the goals that came around his side, right? But certainly in the first half, I thought he probably had his best game of the tournament. I thought he was defending very well, and I thought he was bombing up in a centre-half position, supporting Bukayo Saka very nicely. I don't think the second half went as well for him. I think probably a 6 is probably about right for Carl Walker.
I think actually 5 might be, because he should have been marking Nico Williams for the first goal.
Yeah. Well, look, I'll give my opinion. You give yours, mate. That's what this is. What this is all about. And anyone that is around and watching us live, and it's funny we decided to do this live because I kind of wanted just to give the live streams a little bit of a break, but you know the life of a YouTuber, right?
Yeah.
Anyone who's watching us, you keep on giving us your thoughts as we go through this. So if we start with Walker, let's go to Stones next, shall we?
Don't know if you've heard that. There was an almighty clap of thunder in the Seven Oaks area. I just heard. Don't know if it picked up. Oh well, John Stones. I'd give John Stones a 7. I actually thought he did quite well. Probably one of the players I thought that actually tried in this game. Well, that's a bit harsh. I thought John Stones did quite well. I'll give him a 7.
Yeah. To say he's one of the few that tried, I think is a bit
I
harsh.
know that I think that's harsh. But he was I think was he our best player in the final? One of our best players.
I think so. Yeah. I think so.
I'll give him a 7.
I thought through both halves of the game, he defended pretty well. He was good on the ball, like you'd expect him to. And I've got no complaints on the Manchester City man's performance at all. Stones did exceptionally well. I think Stones and Mark Gahey throughout the whole tournament probably will come out of this tournament probably their heads held high. Just a little bit of admin. If you can keep hold of the comments as they come in, because I'm going to deal with the banners side of
doing
things.
all of the players his player ratings before we do. He's
I can see that because I've got about 10 notifications on the comments.
Emerson, it's good to see you.
It's great to see Emerson. Emerson was so helpful to me, by the way, in talking to me about Mario Kozadubry's transfer over to Brighton. So fair play. Thanks, Emerson.
And good luck to Kozia Dubry as well.
Exceptional talent.
If he gets regular game time, he's going to be a hidden gem in the
He's certainly going to be one to watch in the new season, certainly over pre-season as well, how much time he will get. But let's get into what we're talking about. So for Stones, for me, I think I need to give a rating, don't I? I'm going to be very generous with the Manchester City man. I'm going to give him a 8, I think.
Ooh, okay.
I think he did exceptionally well. Again, probably his best game of the tournament. I think he was quite composed in what he'd done in the match. There was some crucial interventions that he'd done, and probably as the senior man in the back line, I think he led that back line exceptionally well. I don't know. I mean, we'll get on to Mark Gahey in a minute, but part of me wonders about the extra experience that one Harry Maguire might have given to the England squad had he been fit. But being the cards that we were given, I thought Stones did exceptionally well, and I think Mark Gahey did exceptionally well as well for someone doing their first tournament football. He will only get better from that.
Yeah, I'm going to give Mark Gahey's rating. He gets a 7 as well. I actually think it's sort of a blessing in disguise almost to have Mark Gahey play ahead of Harry Maguire, because I think actually he'd done very well. See, I always thought, knowing Gareth, he plays someone like Lewis Dunk at the back, but he played Mark Gahey, and I think he's been certainly, I mean, granted, it's not saying a lot, but he's been one of our best players this tournament, the whole tournament. Mark Gahey has been solid. I know he missed a game against Switzerland, but he didn't get sent off. He got a yellow card.
Yeah, it was just yellow card suspended, wasn't he? Yeah.
Yeah, but Gahey gets a 7. I thought he was quite solid. Good in the final, good in the whole tournament, really. I've been very impressed by him. As IFC always says, he's never played tournament football before. He's not played international football in this as serious as this before, and he held his
game out. Absolutely right. Absolutely right. That's fair praise indeed. Is there anything else I need to catch up on the comments in terms of, because I'll give Gahey a 7 for the game as well. Okay. Nothing spectacular from him, but I think he defended exceptionally well. Emerson agrees with what I say there. Now, it kind of felt a bit weird when I wrote the name of Bukayo Saka at right wing back here. I'll be honest with you, but that's what I've got to do because that's where he was. How did you think he got on during the final, Posh?
He gets a 6. I think he
Yeah.
did okay. He was good in small doses, but he wasn't like spectacular or anything like that. But I thought he did okay. He didn't drop a stinker in the final. Thank God for that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm pleased that yeah, he gets a 6. Yeah, AFC always agrees with me.
I think 6 is probably about right for Bakayo. I feel for him so much, as I feel quite a lot for someone who I think probably would have done probably a better job defensively in a right wing back position, because it's so weird to see Bakayo
Yeah.
back there, right? When you've got Trent Alexander Arnold right there.
Mm.
Do you know what I mean? I
Yeah.
mean, I know it would have been very bold, obviously,
Yeah.
to take someone out from that. And if we look in the midfield players in a moment, to take one of them out, perhaps for Saka, for him to be in more of an advanced position, might have taken a lot to do. But look, Bakayo's been asked to do all sorts of weird things in this tournament, and genuinely, I don't think he needed that after the long season that he'd had. To be honest, we'd even seen him
next. We're doing that next AFC always, I think.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
We'll do it
Yeah. Because Shaw's on the list. I wanted to get to Bakayo because he's our boy. To be fair.
Yes. If only I don't mean to put everyone in stress of having to do the penalty shootout in the final, but went down to the all-important 5th penalty. Saka takes the winning penalty that brings football home. That's long-term storytelling. You have no idea how much I wanted that to happen. I'd have been an emotional wreck if that happened watching that live. But yeah.
Almost like I might have been an emotional wreck before this. Almost like I was an emotional wreck before starting the stream. To be fair, but that's between me and you.
Hopefully, Bakayo can have a great season at Arsenal this coming season, because he needs to. We need to, and hopefully Bakayo can be a talisman in that, because we know that he can be.
What I want for Bakayo right now, mate, is for him to enjoy a couple of weeks holiday. Yeah, have a couple of weeks holiday.
Yeah.
Perhaps we'll see him at the tail end of the pre-season, perhaps in the Emirates Cup, perhaps maybe one beforehand. But he won't be travelling to the States. I can guarantee you that.
I was going to say, would I use him in pre-season at all? I don't know. But yeah. Maybe as like an 88th minute substitute at the Emirates Cup to make him get match fitness. But yeah.
So honestly, the sensible head in me thinks that he's going to need a bit more than that. But I would give him the tour of the States off. There are other players that can do the job over there, but we will see him when they come back. Is kind of my thoughts on that one. Right. So Bakayo, I think I said I will give him a 6. Now. Let's talk about Luke Shaw, like AFC wants us to do. Now, this was Luke Shaw's first start in a competitive game for months and months. It's interesting. It's dividing opinion in the chat. What say you, Posh?
It was always going to be tough when the person who's marking Lamine Yamal is a left back who may or may not be fit enough, or a right back who's been playing at left back. Those are going to be the options.
That were the two primary options. Yeah,
Southgate was going to choose. I was surprised that Shaw managed to start, and I think he played a decent part of the game as well. So that's encouraging for him, for his fitness. What did he do? I don't really know what to say about him, really. There's nothing much to say. I think, 5.5, maybe 6. Maybe I'll split it right down the middle and go with 5.8. Because it's average, really.
Yeah.
Maybe 5.5. Really, bit meh. Compsy compsar.
Yeah. I mean, here's the problem that we had at the very start of the tournament, right?
But that's what you get when you're half injured,
Right. So here's the problem that Shaw probably is the out and out best left back that is around in the English game at the moment. There is obviously a arguable point for Mitchell, I think, over at Crystal Palace. I think he's exceptional. I'm not sure there's many others. Guys in the chat, you can tell me if you can think of anybody else, right? But Southgate himself, pre-tournament, said that he was sure one of the only risk. That's what he said. The only risk that he's taken in this whole 26-man squad. I think he might have been telling a few lies on that one. We'll get to why I think that in a little while. But when you have Shaw lining up at left back, what it gives you is a nice balance to the side. He gives you a nice left foot. I don't want to see my left back keep on cutting inside and putting the ball in on his right foot. It irritates me so much, basically because it's my position. So I was available,
Exactly.
Exactly. But
you've been better left back than Trippier, that's for sure.
And I knew you might say that, and I want to defend Trippier a little bit, just a little bit.
He was sent into the wilderness, wasn't he? Really.
I like Trippier as a defender. I think he's exceptionally good. But to be asked to go in that left back position again, I don't think that was very fair. Trippier is he had a difficult enough seasons, but particularly at the back end of it for Newcastle. He had injuries. He also had a dip in his form as well. So don't you think he might have had it difficult enough, let alone call him up to play international football out of position on his wrong foot? I think that was really, really hard done by for the poor lad. So look, Trippier did a fair job during the tournament. However, because of how restricted he would have been, I would have picked Shaw all the way. If he was, because he played 45 in the semi-final against the Netherlands, I thought, well, if he's fit, you've got to pick him.
What's your rating for him then?
Sorry?
What's your rating for Shaw?
And my rating for Shaw would be a 6, I think. Nothing spectacular. It's just for me with Shaw, he gives a better balance to the side, a far better option than anything else that we could have done. And I said it all through the tournament. I feel for Gomez to Liverpool, to be honest.
Yeah,
never had a minute.
He got, as I like to call it, the Connor Cody treatment. He didn't get an ounce of game time.
I mean, he had about 5 seconds worth of screen time, which was like, who's that in the number 22 shirt? Exactly. But Gomez had more games at left back for Liverpool than I think Trippier would have had left back.
Trippier ever did
at Newcastle. So it's again, I feel another one who's had an extended summer without getting any game time, which is unfortunate for him. So let's move on, shall we? We have a 4-man, as I've written as a 4-man midfield here. Bellingham, Mainu, Rice, and Foden. I'd be very interested to see these ratings. You go from how I've written it. Go how I've written it. Go with Bellingham first.
Could you go first this time, please? What's your rating for Mr. Jude?
Hey Jude. Right, so he managed to get an assist for the Palmer goal. Did I think he was highly influential during the match other than that? No, I don't think he was. Not particularly. He's a guy that comes with a lot of height. He's a guy that comes with a lot of potential.
Yeah.
I don't think he had the best of games during the final.
I think
And for that reason,
yeah.
2 seconds and I'll give it to you. For that reason, I'll probably give Bellingham a 5.5.
Yeah, I was going to go with a 5. I was, and you know what? Yeah, I will give him credit for. I know this is not the final, but I'll give him credit for the goal he scored against Slovakia. Lovely bicycle kick, putting us back in the game. Whether we deserve to be back in the game or not is another story.
Yeah,
but that was the only he scored against Serbia, but the Slovakia goal was the only good showing that he had. He was one of our most underwhelming players, I think, the whole tournament. He came in with a lot of promise, a lot of oh, he's going to be so good in our midfield. He wasn't. He was just a bit average in quite a big chunk of the tournament, if I'm being honest. And in the final as well, he didn't offer that oomph that we thought he would, and I'd give him a 5. And also, I also think his arrogance is showing a little bit, and you saw it in the full-time whistle. He was kicking I know he was stressed. I get that, but it's not a good look. But I understand his stress when he was kicking the chairs or whatever.
No, I saw that. Yeah. I also saw something.
Maybe I'm just nitpicking, but look.
No, you're entitled to, Posh. This is what this forum's all about, mate.
Mm.
It's all about having an opinion. So I would take your view on that, and to some extent, I probably would agree with you. However, I will say there was, after that little bit of frustration that we saw, and I can understand that as a young man going through what he's gone through. He went up to every single England player to console them, and I think that showed a bit of leadership amongst that rawness, amongst that maybe inexperience in that young man, in terms of how young he is, right? Yeah. Perhaps that was kind of leadership above his years, if you like. I mean, like I said, I'll stick by what I said about his playing, and I will rate him during the match. But I will credit him because he did go around. I saw this not too long before we went on air, actually, as I was surfing along the old Twitter sphere, and it was very interesting to seeing what he was doing on the full-time whistle. So. Look, I think we've got more to come from Jude Bellingham, and probably
he's only 21, isn't he? So
yeah, he'll learn from that experience. I'm pretty sure of that, and it'll be interesting to see how he gets back to club football first and foremost. Yeah, because
with Mbappe.
Let's put our heads back to the Champions League final for a minute, because I don't think he had his best night there either.
Yeah.
But it'd be very interesting to see how he settles down again when the season starts up again.
Because you can't put in those performances when you're at Real Madrid, because the fans will be on your back instantly. So yeah.
Especially more so now that he's an Englishman who's in Spain. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So yeah, and credit to him as well, because there's not many over there. There's not many players in the English lineup that go and play their regular football abroad. There's only literally a handful over the last few years, and one of them is literally fighting for his future at Manchester United right now in Jadon Sancho. But let's move on. Let's talk about Kobe Mainu. what an occasion this was for the young Man United midfielder. How did he do?
I thought he got taken off too early. I thought Foden should have got taken off Palmer instead. But Mino got taken off. I'm trying to remember, really. That kind of says it all.
It's difficult, isn't it?
Do you know what? He had his best game against the Netherlands. Against Spain, I don't know. I'll go with a 6. There were times where he did okay, but nothing spectacular. I think 6 might be a little bit. Yeah, I'll go with a 6 for Mino.
That's fair enough. Now, Kobe. So I've just seen a picture that's made me smile. I'll get to that when we talk about Arsenal in a minute. Kobe Mainoo, a very young player who might not have expected to have had such an impact in this England side for the tournament. I thought he had an okay-ish kind of game, but I might underplay it a little bit, perhaps. I might give him a 5.5. I don't think he was probably as commanding as he's probably had been for some of these Manchester United games. It's just my view. I do think, again, with Kobe, let's bear in mind he came into this season. This is his first full season. Yeah. I wish I had that blooming talent at blooming 18 years old. I'll tell you that. My life might have been very different, I can tell you. But, and I'm excited for Kobe because I think there's lots more to come for him. Perhaps as an Arsenal fan, that might worry me a bit, but got to feel there's a lot to come for Kobe Mainoo.
Yeah, and
anything more.
I know you were skeptical about bringing him in the squad and starting him.
I was.
And my answer to that was, well, look how he's been doing for Man United in the FA Cup and in important games. I went to say he's practically carried that team almost in a lot of games. So I think he had every right to get called up. And when he got called up in the friendlies a few months ago, I thought, you know what? Yeah, fair play, Gareth. Well deserved. A good call up. And you know what? Against the Netherlands, I thought he was exceptional. And he is going to be an exceptional player as the years go on. And that's what's going to frighten me when playing against Man United. Hopefully Real Madrid will snap him up so we don't have to deal with him in the Premier League in the next few years.
Yeah. so I'll kind of justify my comments because I will stand by them. It was during them opening games, wasn't it, really, where we were struggling to make an impact and struggling to get even through the group, to be fair. And I kind of worried that throwing a young kid at this sort of stage of the tournament might have been a bit too much for him. However, during the tournament itself, you know what? Fair play to him because he did come in. He did have some pretty decent performances, which will only get better. Did he have the greatest game in the final? Again, I don't think he's alone in the fact that
I just think he got taken off too early. If he had a few more minutes, maybe the rating would have been higher. You probably would have. I don't know.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. But look, there's certainly better to come from Kobe Mainoo, and that's a credit to that young man, and he's going to do great. Do you want to read them 2 comments out before I move on?
Emerson says 6.5. AFC always says 5.5, and he looked lost in the first half. Should we move on to Deckers, shall we?
I've read some horrendous stuff about Declan Rice over the last sort of 3 hours or something over on Twitter. Certainly from one Raphael van der Vaart. I don't know if you've seen this on the old Twitter machine, sir.
I know he said something about Bellingham, but I don't know what he said about Rice. Well, let me say good evening to Niall Kane. Good to see you. You got your wish. Spain won. I think the
more mobile Kane.
Yeah,
perhaps.
You, Mr. Kane, would have done a better job than the Kane that was playing for England. But we'll get to him in a minute.
It's great to have you here, mate. Thank you for joining us.
So,
Right, okay. So for Declan Rice, Van der Vaart, let's not forget his allegiances, shall we? From the other side of North London. Now, bear in mind, I'm doing this as an England fan, not as an Arsenal fan. For him to come out with them comments that all he did during the tournament was pass the ball back to Blimmin' Stones, I thought...
Newsflash, Raphael, everyone did that.
You can be slow or slower, and it'll get worse and worse. There's one way to beat them, and that's pass it back.
He didn't pass it back to Stones, Raphael. He passed it back to Pickford.
Is that what it was? He said, Rafael van der Vaart said, what is he actually good at? And for me, I thought that was absolutely outrageous. You know how much I rate Declan Rice.
Yep.
We spoke at length about this, even before he was wearing the Arsenal red and white, mate.
Yeah.
I'd love to know your thoughts on what Rafael van der Vaart says, and then I'll get into my verdict here.
Okay, I'll give Rice's rating first. I think, he didn't have a good game, unfortunately. I am going to give him a 5, and that might be being a little bit generous because all I saw from him was he gave the ball away a lot. He gave the ball away a lot. I was actually tempted to give him a 4, but I thought, I don't know, is that a bit harsh? I'm going to go with, I don't know. No, you know what? I'm going to be ruthless. I'm going to go with a 4 for Rice because all I saw from him was he gave the ball away. And I hate saying that. I hate giving Declan Rice a 4 because, I think the comment off the ball, he was better off the ball than on the ball. But whenever he was on the ball,
I understand that.
He kept giving it away. Maybe I'll give him a 5. Yeah, I'll go 5. Off the ball, he was all right. On the ball, not so good. So, 5 is my final answer. Now, on Van der Vaart's comment saying, what is he actually good at? I think you need to watch Rice play when he was at West Ham and when he was at Arsenal. More importantly, when he was at Arsenal, he was one of our best, if not our best player last season. I said 105 million. Bargain. Absolute bargain. Yeah. He was definitely our signing of the season. Maybe not the Premier League signing of the season. That may have been a certain player who scored for England last night. But in terms of Arsenal signing of the season, Declan Rice, fantastic player. Yeah, he's had a couple of moments where he, may have not had the best of things. But overall, in 90% of games he's played, he's been exceptional. And I lost count of the amount of times I've given him my man of the match in game. I think Van der Vaart needs to. I know he used to play for Tottenham, but I think he needs to go and watch Arsenal a bit more and realise just how good Declan Rice is. I'll always defend Declan Rice here. For Arsenal overall, if he does bad, like he did against Spain, I'll say it. But overall for Arsenal, Declan Rice is an incredible player, and I think he actually suits Arteta's system more than Gareth's by the looks of things.
I agree.
So one thing I say praise about Arteta, he's a better manager than Gareth Southgate. I'll say that about Arteta.
Wow. Well, if you've given me material to go with for a short, that was one of it. Thank you very much for that.
If football came home, Southgate would have won the same amount of trophies as Arteta, by the way. But Arteta, in terms of football...
Don't upset me now.
And in terms of trophies won, and in terms of football, better manager than Gareth Southgate, and he gets the best. Arteta would do well with that England squad. He actually get them to play attractive football. I'm not saying I want him as England manager, but
we want to keep him as Arsenal manager, to be fair. I do anyway. But that is not what this stream's about. I need to get my verdict in on Declan. I think this tournament is very difficult for Declan Rice. I don't think he played his best football. I'm kind of thinking he's probably running on about empty, if not fumes. And perhaps that might be one of the reasons why we didn't see the best of him. I kind of agree with you. almost wholeheartedly that when he's played for Arsenal, he's done a heck of a lot better than he probably did in the whole tournament. And as for the game yesterday, I can't give him any more than a 5. I can't, unfortunately, because having watched the game live and having watched the game or highlights of it today, I can't give him any. And he, again, he's not exactly immune to maybe having below par performances in the final. There's probably there's another 2 that we're going to talk about in the starting lineup that probably disappointed. One of which I might have had a concern with in the first group game, and I'll get to that in a minute. But like I said, Declan, he's had an exceptional season for Arsenal. I think he's had an average at best tournament. I'm afraid for England.
I think a lot of our players, even though he got to the final, had a bit of an average tournament.
I'm looking forward to seeing him lining up for Arsenal in the new campaign. I am super excited to see that, and perhaps seeing him as the number 8, perhaps for Arsenal, and having someone sort of behind him makes a lot of sense to me. But again, that's for another day, right? These two. Yes, Posh,
there are so many similarities between Arteta and Southgate. The only difference is the England team have better players than the Arsenal team. A difference between Southgate and Arteta. Arteta plays better football, in my opinion, than Gareth Southgate. And Arteta's won more silverware. And Arteta hasn't got relegated with a Premier League club before. Because he got relegated with Middlesbrough, didn't he?
He did. Absolutely right. Absolutely right. No, it's a fair point, mate. I mean, we could go all the way back.
Arteta's just the better manager.
Oh no, here's where we're going to differ a bit, because I think Arteta's miles above, but that's just me. And look, it's okay. It's okay to have differing opinions.
I'd rather watch a team managed by Arteta than a team managed by Southgate.
Honestly, so we did the vast majority, I think, of the England games in this tournament as a watch along. And some of it was so hard to watch at some points.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, you said to me in one of the comments that on the shorts that I put out, right? You said, wait, there was a highlight in this match? And I said to you, I think probably the highlights for me and you bouncing off each other like we do in the in the commentary.
Yeah,
some of it I didn't find very exciting at all, I'm afraid.
And it summed it up when Bellingham scored that brilliant overhead kick. I'm like, oh, we've scored. Oh, we've got to watch another half an hour of this, haven't we?
No, what you actually said is we've got to play another 120 minutes of it without realising what you said. But
it felt like 120 minutes.
It did, didn't it? But okay, that's fair. That's absolutely fair. Were we talking about Phil Foden here? I think we probably should have been. That's where I think we probably should have been. Would you like to give Foden your verdict in the final, please?
4. I was going to give him a 3, but he had our first shot on target. I'll give him that.
Yeah.
So 4.
Yeah.
This whole tournament, I think Foden, again, underwhelming. And that's obviously because he is not playing in his natural position. For the vast majority of time, he was on the left when he is a central midfielder. He is an attacking midfielder. Gareth Southgate did not get the best out of Foden because he played him on the left and he's not natural on the left.
Right.
I've waxed lyrical on that too many times. Foden was, Emerson's gone for 5, AFC always 3. I'll go in the middle of you two and go 4 for Foden.
Da-da! That's the Four Horsemen. So I'll go with the 4 as well. Yeah, I do agree. And like you say, when he's asked to do a job out left, whereas there's probably better players who probably play better left side. It's like we're talking about with Luke Shaw, right? Playing left back. You know, having someone having that crucial left foot, and I've helped the balance of a team. It's almost like we didn't have someone. Oh wait, hang on, we had Gordon there, didn't we? And yeah, I understand.
He was there for work experience.
Is that right? I understand. You've got some exceptional players, even in these 4 that we have on the banner here, right? But for a case of having a better balance to the side, wouldn't it have looked better if Anthony Gordon would have been in that midfield?
Gordon or Palmer on the left, one of the two.
Yeah,
but, yeah.
Yeah,
Can I say
absolutely.
hello to Josh here?
Josh, hello, mate.
Coming on yesterday. Were you on his channel yesterday?
I jumped on post-match. I'm not just the Iron Man or Gooner Gathering, don't you know?
Oh,
I wanted to jump in and...
You're the workhorse. You are the ring general of the...
Oh, am I Gunther now, am I? Nice.
Gunther. Absolutely.
Nice.
Yeah, Josh, good to see you.
I had the privilege, actually, of not only being with Josh, I was on the stream with Mile High Hotspur as well.
Nice.
As well as the other lads that were there. But it was the first time that I've spoken directly to My High, and that was really cool. I really enjoyed that, and yeah, it was my pleasure, Josh. No worries at all. Apologies, my daughter was a bit loud, by the way. It was late in the night, and she didn't want to go to sleep.
She was too busy raging about the result.
She was.
Why didn't you leave me any Pringles?
That's probably what it was. I was sharing it with her as well. Don't worry about that, mate.
Okay,
I can't remember if I gave my phone rating or not, mate.
You gave him a 4.
I gave him a 4, right? Well, that's fair.
And we talk about how Anthony Gordon should have played more, which I agree with.
Absolutely. Well, you know what? This is going to be the fun one, especially as us as Arsenal fans.
Oh, can we? I wanted to save him till last, but we'll go with Harold because he did start. He was a starter.
He was a starter as captain. Harold Kane.
I think we need to do a 3-2-1 countdown here and give our ratings for Kane at the same time.
Okay.
3, 2, 1, 2.
1.
I was generous. I gave him a 2.
Yeah.
This isn't just us being, oh, we're Arsenal fans. Oh, he's still a Tottenham reject. No, Kane was he was close to getting the Golden Boot, but I wasn't watching football with stats. I watched it with my eyes. He was awful majority of this tournament, and that's because he still had a knock from a back injury, and it was clearly visible. The back injury was clearly visible, and Southgate, because of his name, his reputation, Southgate started him purely because of that. Ivan Toney and Ollie Watkins, I've waxed lyrical about those two and how good they are. They should have started. Maybe have Kane come on as like a impact super sub or something like that, and that's being generous.
Look at that! Well, look at that, ladies and gentlemen. Me and the boy Wonder here are agreeing with it. I'm agreeing with him.
We do a lot of things.
We do. We do. This is fair.
But Kane, he was not good. He was playing too deep, and oh no. Well, I could talk about how rubbish Kane was in this whole tournament, but we'd be here for hours.
To be fair, mate, we've nearly been here 50 minutes already.
I know.
I can't believe this has gone as long as it has already.
I think we might have to save the Arsenal stuff for another stream.
No, I need to do it today, mate. Otherwise, I've got.
All right.
What we'll do, I've got Kane to talk about,
Yeah.
We'll whiz through the substitutes and
Yeah.
then we'll go through the
We'll do
Arsenal
quick
stuff.
fire on the subs.
Okay, but
Yeah.
I do want to. I don't want to say go in hard on Harry Kane here because I don't necessarily think it's his fault. We were very aware that coming into the tournament, Harry Kane was, yeah, very good.
He was a defender at one point against Slovakia.
That's the funny thing, you know. He played his best football in the tournament defensively, and yeah, you mentioned he was you know, in the race for the golden boot, right?
I know.
Yeah, 2 of them were penalty kicks, by the way.
I know.
Why? And explain this to me. Anyone in the chat as well. Now, had you seen our first watch along of the tournament for England, right?
Yeah.
And you'll remember I said this. Noticeable, I haven't said Harry Kane's name once in the first 20 minutes.
And as we say, the rest is history. And that stream just became the Harry Kane burial session.
Yeah, why, from my point of view, watching it in front of a television, right? Why could I see that? Why could I call that? And Gareth Southgate, who in his day was an extremely good professional footballer, why couldn't he see it in front of his eyes?
Because he was too well. He had taken Kane off in a lot of games, but it's just starting him as well. It's because of his Harry Kane's name. Like he's a bigger name than Ivan Toney or Ollie Watkins, but I don't care. Harry Kane has clearly got an injury. He's clearly played with a knock. He wasn't fit to start for a majority of a game. Ollie Watkins starting with pace. Ivan Toney, if you want to play negative football, hoof the ball up, Sam Allardyce style, get Toney's head on it.
Yeah,
it writes itself.
Two exceptional forwards for their club sides, and two that we've often waxed lyrical about and maybe thought, oh, he'd look nice in a red shirt, right?
Yeah.
Why did it take the final once we'd gone a goal behind? And this is the one that's absolutely infuriated me. I don't know if you've realised my tone's somewhat changed talking about one Harold Kane. But
you're not blinking.
No, I'm not blinking. I'm angry about this. Is that why did it take the final for him to realize, oh look, we keep on losing possession, we're not holding anything up front. Why did it take it to the final to realise, oh, maybe Kane's not up for this. Maybe I shouldn't have played him. And by the way, people might come up and say, well, hold on, Watkins didn't do anything when he came on. No, he didn't have the service either. There's a great issue there.
Watkins didn't have a back injury either. Let's not forget.
No. But that's basically is my thoughts on it. Listen, I admire Kane because he's often done so much damage to us as Arsenal, and of course he's extended his goal record, right, for England in the tournament. Yeah, fair play. He's and it's you know, not easy stepping up from 12 yards, is it? Let's be fair. And the goal he scored in open play, that flick from Toney. And the header on it, yeah, great. And it's not a Harry Kane hate session. It's not.
No,
because reluctantly, I would admit, you know, it's one of them that I thought, well, every time we played against him, you kind of dread it because you know what's going to happen.
If Saka or Palmer or player had a back injury and obviously they were lacking like fitness and they were still getting played, we'd call it out the same, wouldn't we?
Yeah, absolutely, 100%.
Especially Saka. If we were Arsenal fans, we'd be like, hang on, you're making it worse for him.
Yeah, I mean, like I said previously, when we it felt weird me writing Saka's name in the right wing back position because we've often seen him in the front three for Arsenal. And for him to be almost hung out to dry, like Trent Alexander-Arnold was when he was asked to play in the midfield position, where he's not really played that for Liverpool. It's just wrong for me.
Kane should have never started this tournament being 75% fit. Yeah, if it was Football Manager, he'd have the orange injury symbol on his. And if you've seen my Football Manager videos, which will hopefully come back sooner rather than later,
I'd love to see that.
Player with the orange symbol, I'm like, yeah, you're getting benched, you're not fit, or you're getting dropped.
Yeah,
but that's just a computer game.
It's not real
life to me anyway.
So real quick, because I do want to do this a bit quick fire because A, I'm hungry, and B, I've been up since before 5 a.m. this morning.
Yeah.
So
thank God the game didn't go penalties then.
And I might have gone to work not tasting cornflakes. I'll tell you that much. We got three sides to talk about here. So Watkins was the first one that came on for Kane. Palmer came on for Mainu, and for the last knock-ins, Tony for Foden.
So I'm gonna go with all three here, right? Quick fire. Watkins gets a 5. Not much happened with him. Cole Palmer gets. Maybe a 7 might be too generous. I'll give him a 6 because he came on as a sub. Oh, you're giving him a 7.
7 for me.
7.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll join in. 7. Change the game.
And I agree with Watkins as well with a 5. Yeah.
Scored a very good goal.
And I'll give a not applicable for Tony.
I was going to say NA for Tony because I didn't see him at all. Yeah, I didn't even know he came on. I thought Conor Gallagher came on. So
he was warming up, as was Trippier. But obviously the dagger came in the 86th minute. And so obviously played.
Said, who's he? And I did a bit of research. The Real Sociedad striker.
I didn't know. Honestly, I don't.
That was him.
I don't see enough of La Liga to be fair. And
research on him as well when he scored. So he won. Bought football home for Spain.
Yeah.
AFC always says Watkins and Tony 5 and Palmer gets a 7.
Thank you very much. And guys, I've never seen our comment section so alive like we have tonight. So thank you so much for contributing to what we're doing tonight. We appreciate you all. You know what you guys need to do for us. If you can just hit that like button. I know the vast majority of us who are watching on YouTube tonight are subscribed. If you're not already and you're not aware, we also live on Posh Bertie's YouTube channel tonight because the good people on Twitter or X have now decided to put a premium on us streaming over on X. And we are not going to do that right now. So if you could, and either if you do it now or later, just check out Posh Bertie. He's easy to find over there on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe to his channel and give the video a like. He's a good lad, really. All right. Much appreciated. And so I think that is basically the final cover. What I do want to say before we finish off talking about the Euros. But before I say that,
all right,
I want to give Spain credit for the effort that they put in during the final. They were by far and away the best team in the whole of the tournament. They are well-deserved winners. So congratulations to Spain. They were exceptional. Anything you want to add on that, mate?
I agree with what you were saying there. I'm just trying to put my link in the chat there. There we go. That should do it.
Good lad.
There you go. There's my channel.
There we go. Thank you very much, mate. You might have wondered the image that I saw on Twitter as I was screening through, the one that made me smile. It was Gabriel Jesus in full training. Obviously, the lads in Arsenal are back in training. You'll see the pictures on Arsenal.com and on the Arsenal app right now. But what I do want to make sure we cover before we leave the stream tonight There are
Yeah.
2 transfers that have happened. We're talking about departures. I think I want to go with Sambi Lukonga first. Okay, so Albert Sambi Lukonga has joined La Liga side Seville on a season-long loan. Now, my understanding of this, from stuff that I know a little bit behind the curtain, is this is a loan with an obligation to buy. Now, Sambi has played only 39 games for Arsenal.
Too many.
Yeah, perhaps. Obviously, had the season out on loan to Luton Town last season. I don't think there was any way, shape, or form he was going to command a place into the Arsenal first team. But what I will do, the lad is only 24 years old, and I hope for his career that he does well over in Spain. So good luck, Sambi. I hope everything goes well. He does have a bit of potential, I think, the Belgian international. So, best wishes for him. Anything to say about Sambi?
He says, why can't we sell Lukonga instead of loaning him out? Well, it's an option to buy.
It is an option to buy, and also he's only got a very short contract left.
I mean, and are they really going to buy him? Are they really going to buy him? To be honest,
what he needs is some regular first team football, and he needs to be impressing. And I don't think he really had an exceptional season in these 2 loan spells. Let's not forget he had a spell out at Crystal Palace as well.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, as much as you want to ship him out, I don't think it's as easy as that. But like I said, I don't think he's going to surface for Arsenal again. So this is basically a goodbye for him. So I don't think we'll probably mention his name. Again, maybe if something spectacular happens in his loan spell, perhaps. And again, as the banner says, if you could take the comment away, Nuno Tavares has also completed a loan move today. He has gone to Lazio, so he's going to Serie A. Again, another 24-year-old defender has joined Serie A side Lazio on a season loan. Spent last season over at Nottingham Forest. He only made 12 appearances over there. He did have an exceptional moment for Arsenal. Let's not forget he scored in a home win against Manchester United in April 2022. He also infamously was hooked in that FA Cup tie against Forest when he was playing for Arsenal. And let's just say I don't think I was super impressed with his attitude following that. But what I will hope to see for him is that if he goes to Serie A, goes to Lazio, the standard is very high over there in Italian football. They're all about solid defences over there. Yeah. It'll be interesting to see how he lines up. And one thing that Nuno does have is a bit of attacking flair from the left-hand side. So it'll be interesting to see how he settles down. I am not sure if this is a loan to a permanent deal. I'm going to try and look into that a little bit further when I can. But yeah, so that this is the second confirmed deal that has come out today. Now, there is one other story that might upset quite a lot of Arsenal fans, including the man to my right, but I will talk about it. So it appears that Crystal Palace and Fulham have gone in for a bid for Emil Smith Rowe tonight. I'm not sure of the figure exactly. It does sound like Arsenal are willing to negotiate a fee, something along the region of £25 million. Smith Rowe, of course, has had his moments and it's had some great moments for Arsenal, particularly in the season affected by the pandemic, we had numerous goals and assists. I think he even became in that COVID season, perhaps the standout performer, perhaps in terms of goal assists. But he has struggled immensely with fitness and getting game time. Even when he is fit, perhaps he hasn't had the trust for Mikel Arteta to put him in. Whether that is right or wrong, Posh Bertie probably would tell me that he's completely wrong about this. But so as it stands, ESR is still winning as an Arsenal player at the moment. It looks like negotiations are going to be going on between the two clubs I have mentioned, and we'll wait to see further developments on it. I'm pretty sure you're going to have an opinion on this, Posh, so the floor is yours.
I think Smith Rowe was a fantastic player for us, especially in the pandemic season and in 2022 as well. People forget he got one of the most amounts of assists for us that season in 2021-22. I think something along the lines of that. Scored about 10 goals as well, I think.
Yeah. No, you're right.
I know injury problems affected him. I get that, but when given the chance, I know when you got Martin Odegaard in there and as attacking mid, you can't really get game time with that, but when given the chance, when given first team opportunity, and if he gets his head right, it will do very well. And I think he will absolutely thrive. Aston Villa, Fulham, Crystal Palace, that could be their Elise replacement. Like that could genuinely be. And I like the look of Crystal Palace this season. They're a team we should be very wary about. If they keep Eze, Gay, Adam Wharton, and they sign Smith Rowe, if all of that happens, they are going to be very high in the table. Right? Are they going to be? I don't want to give an exact prediction. I'll save that when the league is nearer. But if all those scenarios happen, I think Crystal Palace can be the surprise package this season.
They can certainly be a dark horse for a European place. That's I think that's probably realistic, isn't it?
In a conference league around that time.
I agree. I strongly agree, particularly if this deal with ESR happens.
Yeah. And you just know he's going to score against us.
Well, let's see if
I'm going to rage, and I'm going to do an entire video on my YouTube channel about how rubbish life is. Yeah,
you can absolutely do that, Posh, and of course, you have your freedom. This is why I wanted to put this stream tonight on your YouTube channel, because I want you to thrive as well. We behind the curtain, ladies and gentlemen, we had words before we started. It was all good, by the way, and I just basically told this man how much I appreciated him supporting us here on Gooner Gathering, and he's been my right hand man from day one, not day one-ish, but day one here on Gooner Gathering, and let's show a bit of love to Posh Bertie on his channel. He's put his channel on. Absolutely. Back the original, the OG of us being on YouTube, mate. It was a good time, and it was unfortunate that Canon Chatter did come to a close. But what it did do was open up the platform for us to do us as our own bosses. We are the authority here, and we can throw in as many stupid American wrestling references as we can during the channel when we can get away with it, which is good. So that is just about it, I think, from Gooner Gathering this evening, Posh, unless you have anything else you want to add before we leave. Is there any other comments before we go, mate?
No, other than AFC Always says he's subscribed to me. Thank you very much, AFC Always.
Thank you, mate.
That. That's about it, really. Do you want me to fire up the social media banners?
That's it. Load it up. Thank you, sir.
My Instagram's at 31less, and I run Gooner Gathering's Instagram account, which is at Gooner Gathering, where we watch Arsenal, so you don't have to.
There's the catchphrase. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you again for watching us, whether you're here on Gooner Gathering or on Posh Bertie's channel. You can find me at Goonerly Mead. You can find Gooner Gathering at Gooner Gathering on X, surprisingly. You can also find us on the TikTok channel. Again, find us on at Gooner Gathering. Thank you, Emerson. I saw your comment there. I have some work to do tomorrow. I will say that much. I need to do a bit of an update video about everything that's gone on over the weekend. But listen, this young man has been supporting me during the Euros. We had a long old stream. This is completely on the fly tonight, and we've already gone over an hour. So big up to Posh Bertie. Thank you very much. All of you have been watching. Have a good evening. Take care of yourselves, and we shall see you on the next one. See you later.